are online or offline, and also our guest lecturer, Ms. Francisca Canisin Bordelis, as Deputy Head of Mission Embassy of Chile in Indonesia. Let me introduce myself. My name is Alinka Natasha Azhar, and I'll be your host today. Before we begin today's guest lecture, let's pray for everything to run smoothly for the start until finish. The prayer begins. Finish. Next, let's all participants take the time to sing the national anthem of Indonesia Raya, followed by Mas Ursni. Please stand up.
Kibarkanlah bendera USMI Adhika, Universitas Satya Negara Indonesia, jaya dan abadi selama, menciptakan putra-putri berkarya, berbakti kepada negara, melaksanakan Tridharma perguruan tinggi, sumpah setia kepada negara dan Pancasila, membangun negara tercinta, meneruskan cita-cita proklamasi 45, berbakti kepada terpilih. Kibarkanlah bendera USMI Adhika, Universitas Satya Negara Indonesia. Kibarkanlah bendera USMI Adhika, Universitas Satya Negara Indonesia, jaya dan abadi selama, menciptakan putra-putri berkarya, berbakti kepada negara, melaksanakan Tridharma perguruan tinggi, sumpah setia kepada negara dan Pancasila, membangun negara tercinta, meneruskan cita-cita proklamasi 45, berbakti kepada terpilih. Kibarkanlah bendera USMI Adhika, Universitas Satya Negara Indonesia.
Thank you. Participants are kindly to be seated again. All right. Next, we have the welcome speech. The first greeting will be delivered by Dean of FISIP USNI, Professor Valesa Munabari, MA PhD. The floor is yours.
All right, participants, good afternoon. How are you? All right, so why are you so weak? Come on, please, stand up and raise your voice. Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. All right, good afternoon to Madam Francisca, Deputy Head of Mission, Embassy of Chile to Indonesia. We are really thankful for your coming here in our campus to share your knowledge about many aspects of Chile, because we are really grateful for your presence today. We look forward to, we actually have already planned this, about 3 or 4 months ago. I told to Mas Doni, the head of our study program, that why not, inviting speakers from Latin America, But because the fact is that Indonesia and Chile have established 60 years diplomatic relations in, such a long period of time. But on the other hand, there's little knowledge that actually our people know about Chilean people, Chilean culture and traditions. And I believe that this is a very good opportunity for us. We have Her Excellency Madam Francisca here to share about the many aspects, various aspects, be it political, economic, and social development and progress and relations of Chile in Indonesia in this very good opportunity in the FPCI USNI chapter. What is the number of this? 19, yeah? Okay, all right, so Madam Francisca, this is a hybrid webinar. Actually, we have offline participants and online participants. Once again, to the organizer, thank you very much for organizing this wonderful event. And I encourage you to keep, looking for other speakers from, far away from Indonesia. Next time you find from other countries in Latin America, because if you read on news on our national media, if you Google the keywords of Chile and Indonesia, there have been increased, economic and political relations over the last 2 or 3 years. Yeah, in fact, Indonesia and Chile have comprehensive economic partnerships agreements. Do you know that? This is a good progress, and also. We see that from G2G relation, government to government relations, there have been an increased level of cooperations in a variety of aspects and sectors. And this is a good news. But what is lacking is that in the courtesy call with Madam Francisca, we have a little discussions about the need for future closer people-to-people contact, so that we can understand the social and cultural backgrounds of Chilean people. And I already told also to Madam Francisca, maybe 1 or 2 universities in Chile could be recommended to us to join our global classroom initiative in the future. That will be great, so that, we can, establish closer understanding, toward each other, because we believe that academics is a good platform for us to know better, to increase the level of people-to-people contact or people-to-people diplomacy. Would you agree with that? Okay. Once again, thank you very much. Thank you very much once again, Madam Francisca, for sparing your time here to come here to share your knowledge. And please, participants, from now on, formulate your questions, and then ask in the Q&A sessions to Madam Francisca, and it is a very good opportunity. All right, thank you very much for coming, and I hope you have a fruitful and enjoyable discussions. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Okay, next, giving a plaque.
Sorry.
Plakat. Yeah. Yeah. The documentation team, please help us to do. All right. For those joining online, please turn on your camera because we will take a photo first. Bayu. Yeah, go photo first. Yeah.
Please join us. Right side, right wing.
Right.
Right wing.
Yeah.
So that we can have balance. Group photo first.
Okay, photo first.
Kayu. Join us. Pak Sultan. Come on, please join us.
Albi. Screen zoom. Screen zoom. For those joining online, please turn on camera because we will take a photo first.
Style ya, style.
Thank you. Yeah.
We still have more. We still have more. We do that for you.
Negara Indonesia. All right. We'll be the next agenda. Before we begin the Dubes Ngopi series, allow me to introduce the moderator who will guide us through today's sessions. Our moderator is young, active, accomplished academic Miss Tia Pankaramadani ME Paul. She is currently a lecturer in Satyanagara Indonesia University. Miss Tia graduated with a bachelor degree in international relations from the University of Lampung at 2019 and also completed her master degree in ER at Padjadjaran University in 2024 supported by the prestigious LPDP scholarship. In her career, she served as a research administrator at the Research and Community Service Institute of Institut Teknologi Sumatera from 2020 until 2022. Prior to that, she was also active as a research assistant from 2016 until 2019. Besides her involvement in research, Ms. Tia also a productive writer contributing to various national and international journals. With her strong academic and professional backgrounds, she will lead today's session with deep insight and thoughtful analysis. Let us welcome our moderator, Ms. Tia Pankaramadani. The time floors.
Okay, thank you, Miss, for your introduction to me, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, audience. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, and on behalf of this organizing committee, I warmly welcome you to today's session of Dubes Ngopi Series 19, entitled Strengthening Indonesia-Chile Relation in Politics and Economics, Reflection of Two Countries' Relation After 6 Decades. Okay, this event proudly presented by FPC Chater Usni and in collaboration with International Relations Study Program at Universitas Satya Negara Indonesia. But allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tia Pancharamadani, and it is my honor to serve you as moderator of this afternoon. Miss Francisca, welcome to USNI. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a brief, simple or a little bit explanation about Chile and Indonesia relation. The bilateral relation between Indonesia and Chile have stood the test of the times more than 6 decades and marked by established diplomatic ties since 1964, and both countries have separated geographically by the vast Pacific Ocean but are connected by shared values, mutual economic interests, and growing political engagement, especially under the umbrella of South-South cooperation and multilateral frameworks. And we have to also note that Indonesia is the largest economic in Southeast Asia, but Chile is one of the most open economies in Latin America. In recent years, their relationship has been significant strides in trade, notably following of ICCPA, or Indonesia-Chile Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. And this agreement opened up new trade opportunities and symbolized a commitment to economic integration across a region. In political, both countries continue to engage dialogue in global issues such as climate change and then multilateralism and development cooperation. Given the changing dynamic of international politics and evolving global economic order, the bilateral partnership between Indonesia and Chile has a strategic partnership. And today, we are privileged to have front seat row to conversation that I hope will deepen our understanding of this relation from the lens of diplomacy, economics, and regional cooperation. To guide us through this important discussion, we are honored to welcome the diplomat whose career has been deeply rooted in advancing Chile foreign policy, interest, and bilateral cooperation. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Francisca Claassen-Bordils, Deputy of Head Mission at Embassy of Chile in Indonesia. Ms. Francisca? Welcome. We hope Ms. Francisca brings extensive experience in field of diplomacy, regional partnership, and multilateral cooperation. Okay. Ms. Francisca, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much. Is it okay if I present standing up? Yes. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Ibu Tia. Ibu Tia. In Spanish, that means uncle. Sorry, aunt. Aunt. So it means Ibu aunt. But thank you very much for your introduction. Thank you of course, to Dean and to all you the students of University Satya Negara Indonesia. I'm very honored to be here. It's always a very good opportunity, young faces, see people who are curious, who want to learn more, and I think all of you students hold a particular interest in international relations, right? So that's what I'm here today, to tell you a little bit about an area of the world that is far away from Indonesia, and that is Chile. We are in Latin America. We are very far away, but still we hold, like Ibu Tia said, we hold many values that I'm going to comment a little bit on, and some similarities between two countries that are not immediately maybe obvious, but I think you're going to agree with a lot of the things that I'm going to share with you today. So I am a Deputy Head of Mission of the Embassy of Chile to Indonesia. We are a bilateral also and a multilateral embassy. Why? Because we are in charge of the relationship with Indonesia and also with ASEAN. Okay? If you could, thank you, Ka. So this very long, thin red stripe that you see here is Chile. We are in America, in the southern part of the continent. We are, as you see, very long country, and we are very diverse. Just like in Indonesia, unity in diversity. That's something that we also have in a similar sense. Why are we diverse? Because we are a three-continental country. We are in South America, as you can see, and we have some islands in Oceania. You know, as New Zealand is in Oceania, we also have some islands that are in that area of the world. To the west of the mainland of Chile, we have, for example, Eastern Island. Eastern Island, you can see here the picture of the Moai. Moais are ancient structures that were built by ancient Polynesians to worship their ancestors. So that's why in Chile we have something that is Polynesian. We have the mainland of Chile, which is in South America. And the third continent is Antarctica. Chile has a claim over 1 million hectares in Antarctica. The Antarctic continent is a continent where many countries have claims, and is a continent that under the Antarctican Treaty is specifically geared towards peace and cooperation, science. So we also have a claim over that. That's why Chile is a three-continental country. Mas, can you go back just once? Yes. Thank you. So because Chile and Indonesia are so far away, when I come here, most people are not aware of Chile and all of its diversity. What they are usually aware of is, well, not usually, but sometimes I meet some Indonesian friends and they know about soccer. We are also soccer players, just like Indonesia. And sometimes our Indonesian friends know about this soccer player. I'm not a soccer fan. Sanchez, yes, Sanchez, and also Ivan Zamorano, who is an oldie soccer player. So that's something fun that happens to us in Indonesia as Chileans. Can we move to, okay, so because Chile is so long, we are around 4,000 kilometers long, and our coast is even wider because of these islands I told you. So in total, we have a coast that is around 6,000 kilometers. And that means that our weather is very diverse. I was just speaking with your dean and of course your faculty. Chile on the north has the driest desert. On the center, it has a very Mediterranean climate. So in the center, for example, we grow fruits, we grow a lot of wood, and that's the area where we grow a lot of the things we export. And down south, we have a very cold climate, a very rainy season. So in Chile, you can find a lot of everything. An important thing, well, we speak Spanish, we are mostly Catholic, and we, in terms of what we export, because we are a seafaring nation, we have always been a seafaring nation, we are only 20 million people. Chile is only 20 million people. So that means that we need to go outside and talk and trade and share with other countries, because we are such a small country that it's hard for us to just live isolated. So always our tradition has been going outside. Can you please go back to the previous one? Thank you. That's something that I believe we have in common with Indonesia. Indonesia also is a seafaring nation. Trade is also very important. And that's a connection that is very present in the work that we do here as an embassy to Indonesia. As we already mentioned, Chile, thank you. Chile and Indonesia hold a partnership that is 60 years old. This year, in September, we celebrate our 60th anniversary. Now, when we say diplomatic relations, it means the formal establishment or the formal recognition of the Chilean government to the Indonesian government, and the formal recognition of the Indonesian government to the Chilean government. It's something that is done in writing, and it creates the formal establishment of diplomatic relations. It means that both countries have diplomatic envoys to each other so that they can push forward the strengthening of the relationship, greater ties, and that's our work as Embassy of Chile to Indonesia. However, there is a story before the formal establishment, and that's something I would like to share with you. Here you can see some pictures of the work we do here. That's part of our team. Last year, after the elections on 14th February, a very romantic day, by the way, to have elections, the Valentine's Day. After the Indonesian elections, we went to congratulate by then President-elect Prabowo for a very good election in which many Indonesians participated, very transparent and public election. So we went there. We had a chance to share with him before he entered into office. We have also, as I told you, a very strong relationships in terms of maritime cooperation. We have participated this year in the Komodo exercises that were celebrated in Lombok. So here you can see a picture and some record of that activity. Okay, now we can move to. As I told you, Chile and Indonesia have a relationship previous to the establishment of our diplomatic relations. Our diplomatic relations were established in 1965. But before that, we already had a good communication. This picture over here, the one with the boat, it's of Corbeta General Baquedano. It's one of the earliest examples that we have of official interaction between Chile and Indonesia. This is a ship that during its training voyage for the Chilean Navy, that means that this is an official ship from the Chilean Navy, it visited Indonesia in 1900s. So by then, we already had this visitor who came to Jakarta and who interacted with, of course, the Navy of Indonesia and with the peoples of Indonesia during 1900s. I don't know if you know this sir over here. His name is Pablo Neruda. He is a Chilean poet. He's actually recognized as a Nobel laureate. He has been awarded the Nobel Prize for Poetry. Pablo Neruda, we Chileans are very poetic people. We have many writers, something that we are known for, and Pablo Neruda is one of them. And he actually worked, just like myself and my team our team in the embassy. He worked as a diplomat in Indonesia. He worked as a consul before the establishment of relations. I think this was around 1930, 1932. So Pablo Neruda, not only did he work here, of course he lived here, and he married an Indonesian wife. Her name is, I always forget, I'm bad with names, Marie Hagenaar. So she was also Japanese. She was Japanese, and it's very interesting because Pablo Neruda was working here as basically a consul during a time when consular work was a lot of paperwork. He basically certified, let's say, the documents that the Navy has. That were issued by the Chilean Navy. He certified that they were, or customs. He certified that they were Chilean. So his work was a lot of paperwork. During that time, he also wrote a lot of a lot of poetry in Indonesia. And this is one of the examples. Part of my pronunciation, but it's called Soneta Cinta. Soneta Cinta. And Pablo Neruda has been translated to Indonesian a lot because he left a small mark when he was here in terms of Chilean literature. We have seen other Chilean authors being translated to Indonesia, and that's for us is very good because I think you can enter people's heart by books or also by the food, you know? So the Chilean food has not really made a lot of, let's say, an impression on Indonesia yet, but I think literature has done quite its work here for us to grow closer bonds together. So I encourage you, if you like poetry, if you are young, of you are, read Pablo Neruda. He's translated into Indonesia, and he speaks a lot about inner things that might be of interest. Now, I was commenting to you about before the establishment of diplomatic relations. This is after, okay? In 1994, Indonesia hosted a very important summit. You remember in 1922, Indonesia hosted the G20. The G20 and the summit was in Bali. Was this in 1922? But it was very recent, right? It was very recent because after Indonesia, I think it was Peru and now it's Korea. But it was a recent, so these kind of summits are very important because they help to foster international relations, mostly at a government-to-government level, but also they incorporate the private sector and the civil sector. So, 1994, APEC Bogor was hosted here in Indonesia. And for us, this was an important milestone because Indonesia contributed to Chile being recognized as an APEC economy. APEC is Asia-Pacific Forum. It's made up of mostly countries that are, or not mostly, only of economies that are in the Pacific. So Indonesia's part, Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, Australia, New Zealand, Korea, Chile, Peru, US. It's a big forum, and it helps to foster relations at a political level and also to people persons between economies that are in the Pacific. So 1994, Indonesia was really instrumental in its support to Chile to enter into APEC. Here you can see the president of Singapore, the president of the US, and next to the president of the US we have former President Frey in an Indonesian batik, similar to what Papa is wearing, a formal batik, right? So that's something important for us. We remember Indonesia's support for our accession to APEC in 1984. And another part of international relations that is very important in terms of government to government, but also it incorporates people to people relations, is state visits. I know you as residents to Jakarta, you see many visits from foreign presidents, from foreign heads of state. Just now China, Macron is coming. I cannot even keep count because in Indonesia I feel like almost every 2 weeks I see a foreign dignitary coming here, headswoman, head of state coming here and visiting your government. So this is also the case for Chile. You probably have already surmised that we live a very far distance apart from each other. So visits are not as common as we would like. In 2017, President Bachelet came here and she was received by President Joko Widodo and, of course, Iriana. Our current president, her former wife was Irina, so it's always confused. Similar, exactly. President Bachelet came to Indonesia, and this visit was important. There have also been visits from Indonesian presidents to Chile, but this visit was particularly important because they agreed that Chile and Indonesia were going to start the negotiation of a free trade agreement. Free trade agreements are very important for international trade. Why? Because they are made so that rules of international exchange, of international trade, can be eased up. This is something that is very, very relevant on today's world, right? How to hold a trade that is based on the rules of law and on on all of the international system for trade. So that's how we get to the Chile-Indonesia comprehensive economic partnership agreement, ICTEPA. ICTEPA has been enforced since 2019, so that means almost 6 years, and we have seen trade growing, but a little bit slowly, but it's growing. That's important because one part is a free trade agreement, but the other part is the private interest on trading. So that's that also involves us as embassies. We have the duty to try to increase increase trade. So that's a big part of our work. Currently, the largest exports from Chile to Indonesia are copper ore, wood pulp, salmon, grapes, and from Indonesia, the primary export to Chile is not electric, but buses for tourism, and also a lot of different types of sneakers. So I just, zapato in general, but I just put a sneaker here. So what can I tell you about this? In my opinion, the Indonesian trade, I find that it has a very interesting component on terms of how highly processed the exports are. And that's very important because it has an added value. So we hope to continue seeing exchange between both countries. Next, Dismas. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you about what we are currently doing in our embassy to foster deeper relations between Chile and Indonesia. One of them, very important, trade and market access. I was just telling you about ICTEPA. ICTEPA is an agreement that is made initially only regarding goods. So, for example, exporting, let's say, waters or flowers, only goods. But we have continued negotiating to incorporate other items. Currently, we have already finished the negotiation and almost the whole process for the services chapter. That means that services are also facilitated for trade. And now we have to implement this agreement, which is going to be soon, so we're looking forward to that. And also this year, we're hoping to initiate the negotiations for trade and investment. So slowly, little by little, we are reaching the three main components of international trade. Here, well, that's a picture of the visit from our Vice Minister of Trade into Indonesia last year, and that's when we signed the interest to start negotiated investment. So how do you see trade coming to Indonesia and to Chile? For example, you get a shipment of coffee from Indonesia to Chile. That's a way of trade, right? Here I have one example. Recently we had the Chinese New Year and we received a shipment of cherries. You see here, so here's my ambassador, the people who are in charge of a trade, and those cherries arrived here. So that's an example of trade. The same thing we get, for example, in Indonesia, palm oil. Palm oil. That's something that's common also. The next one, please. To do trade, you need to do something very important, which is market access. It's not only about, let's say, I want to send blueberries from Chile to Indonesia, or for Indonesia to say, I want to send coffee to Chile. The important thing, before that, you need free trade agreement to make it easier, but also you need to have market access. And market access means to have all the sanitary, all the health approvals so that that product is safe, right? So recently we have opened in Indonesia blueberries, kiwis, frozen grapes, and we had recently also our Minister of Agriculture come to Indonesia just to talk about market access. That's something very important. And this year, we are celebrating, as you know, the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations, and we're having a big event in September in order to foster greater ties between exporters and importers. It's called a business matching event. So that means that Chilean exporters are going to be coming to Jakarta to meet with Indonesian importers so that they can know each other and to see if there is an interest, for example, to bring Chilean grapes here, and maybe the Indonesian importer will say, okay, I want to bring grapes. Do you want me to take palm oil? And so that's how business usually works. And that's something that governments can do to foster greater trade. You bring your business matching activities, you bring exporters to the other country, or you bring importers to the other country, and they get together and they said, maybe we want to do some business together. That's one way, and that's what we're doing in September. Next, please. I also wanted to touch down on the importance of consular services. When you have had a chance to study abroad in the future or visited abroad, you're going to realize how important it is, your embassy or the consulate, in case anything happens. Chile, we have here an embassy that does both diplomatic and consular work, and we saw how important consular work is during the COVID pandemic, right? We also saw what happened. The frontiers were closed, so in Indonesia, the first picture that we have here, a lot of Chileans were stranded in Indonesia. They had come in for holiday to Bali, Lombok, I don't know, Labuan to many places, beautiful places in Indonesia, and they could not go back because the frontiers had been closed. So part of our work was getting together a charter to take back to Chile those Chileans that were stranded when the COVID pandemic took place. Another very important aspect is community building. Chile is very far away from Indonesia, so we only have around 150 permanent residents. But they're very few, but you're going to find that when you're far away from your country, you really miss your country and you want to get together with your countrymen, countrywomen. So that's also something that we do. For example, we celebrated 18 September, which is similar to 7 Agustus, or it's similar, the Independence Day, right? That's something that we do every year. And the picture, the last picture we have here, it's of a school, and I'm sorry, but I need to read it because I forget. Sekolah Cempaka Putih, Republic of Chile. This is a school that is in Menteng. It's a school for special needs students that is partially fostered by Chile. We have had a good collaboration over the years with them. For example, we have shown movies. We have gone there and done activities to play with the kids and awards, that kind of thing. So this is also a special part in our heart. And I want to tell you something more about it, but let me go a little bit forward and I will retake the activities that we do at the Sekolah Cempaka Putih. Before I came here, I asked many times, what is the name? And I know how to write the name, but I'm bad at pronouncing it. So that school is very important for the work that we do as an embassy. Oh, 5 minutes more. Okay, no, it's okay. Can we move to the next one? Okay, feminist foreign policy. For Chile, it's very important to promote the participation of women in all aspects of public and political life. So every year for the International Women's Day, we do this activity. This year we had a special guest, Ibu Roro. She's Vice Minister of Trade. And we got together Indonesia's businesswomen and also representatives from embassies in charge of trade to promote our role as as women who work, as women who do trade together, and on the political sphere also. So that was one activity that we did, and that we try to do every year. I think I'm going to move to the next slide. Sorry, to the final one. Yes. Okay, so just to finish up, 60 years of diplomatic relations, Chile and Indonesia. This year, we're bringing over the Esmeralda. It's a training cruise from the Chilean Navy. It has over 200 seafaring people, and it's visiting a lot of countries in the Pacific area. It sailed out of Valparaiso, and then it went to Hawaii, and then it's going to China, and then it's coming here. So in Jakarta in July, we're having Esmeralda, and we are doing a lot of activities that have to do with the things that we do as an embassy. We're going to visit the Sekolah Cempaka Putih. We're going to visit them, the kids, to play the band, share some lunch, and just as a nice activity to support the school. We're going to do a women and security seminar between women in the Navy of Chile and Indonesia. That's going to be very interesting. And we're also, of course, going to promote a Chilean product. So this is one of the highlights that we're going to do during this year to celebrate the 60 years of diplomatic relations. And we also want to do visits to the ship for Indonesian students to go there. So we're going to be working together with FPCI to bring over students. So maybe you will get an invitation once we get all of these together to visit the ship. That's one of our ideas that we are still in the works, but are working towards accomplishing students to go there to the ship to see how sea life is, and particularly to see how the Chilean Navy interacts in Indonesia. So I think that's about it. Thank you very much for your time, for listening to me. The work that we do at the embassy is basically try to foster greater diplomatic ties with Chile and Indonesia. This helps us for the greater well-being of our people. We have a lot of experiences that we can share and that we are sharing. And new perspectives are always good. It's not only about trade. There are many issues in which we agree and many issues from which we can learn from each other. So I look forward to your questions, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Miss. That's a very great presentation, I think, and enlightened and comprehensive. I hope that we have very much insight from you. Like, I just know that we are same and similar in some ways. Like Indonesia and Chile also diverse. We have a diversity in people, in culture, in climate also. And then I just know that Chilean and Indonesia love so much about soccer.
Yes.
I just know that.
Yes. I don't participate in that particular love, but yes, we sure that we like to play.
Yeah.
Bola cepat.
Sepak bola. Sepak bola, yeah, sepak bola. Okay, and then we go to the next session. The session I will open up for 5. Maybe in Zoom. Ada yang ini? Oh, belum ada. Maybe for you are coming present here, wanna ask Miss Francisca direct to know more about Chile and Indonesia. Come on.
Bye.
It's okay kalau mau tanya di bahasa Indonesia nanti coba di-translate, nggak apa-apa. Silakan.
Mungkin saya bisa mengerti sedikit.
Okay, good afternoon, Miss Francisca. I'm Ratu Samazara, an international relations student from USNI. So, in the context of the trade agreements, as previously explained, ICSEPA will run for 60 years. During these 6 decades, what are the main challenges in implementing the ICSEPA with Indonesia, whether in logistics or product standardization or market access? Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much for your question. It's very insightful. There are always many challenges to increase trade when you are very far away. So we have the TEPA. It's been in force maybe 6 years. And I think if you were to ask me what is the hardest part, it's always the people-to-people connection. The distance. When you do business, you want to do business with someone that you know, right? You need to know who you're dealing with. So that's a challenge. We need for Indonesians to go to Chile, and we need for Chileans to come to Indonesia. That's why we are looking forward to the event that we're having in September. It's a good opportunity to know each other's faces. Zoom is very useful, but it's not everything. It's always better for people to meet, to talk, to see what they have in common, and that's how trade is done. Trade is not only about facilitating trade, which is very important, but it's also about people trusting each other and coming to an agreement that is in the benefit of all parties. So people to people and a greater connection between people, it's, I believe, the greatest challenge. Thank you for your question. Yustiana Sapta Dewi. Zoom dulu.
Okay, we will welcome Miss Yusriani Sapta Dewi. You can turn on your camera. Okay, you can directly ask Miss Francisca. The time is yours.
Halo, terima kasih Ibu Tia. Selamat siang. Good afternoon, Madam Francisca. My name is Yeni from Environmental Engineering, Universitas Satya Negara Indonesia. You know that one of the Universitas Satya Negara Indonesia lecturer was Indonesia's first ambassador to Chile from 1991 until 1994. Yes, his name is Bapak Soekarno Harjo Sudarmo. He is a professor from Faculty of Social and Politics, USNI, Universitas Satya Negara Indonesia. Yes, the Indonesia's first ambassador to Chile. Okay, let me ask. Chile has shown a full commitment to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals by the United Nations. According to the Sustainable Development Report 2024, Chile ranks 32nd out of 166 countries with an SDGs index score of 77.82. What significant challenges remain as measure of the cost in achieving the SDGs targets? Thank you.
Ibu, you mean Sustainable Development Goals? Okay. I think when all United Nations members come to an agreement such as the United Nations goals to fulfill these great challenges for humanity to 2030, it's, and let me repeat myself, a great challenge. It's a challenge that Chile has taken with a lot of positive impulse. We are very interested in overcoming all of the goals. For me, I have been I've had good opportunities to work, particularly in women, in increasing the participation of women. But SDG goals are something that we incorporate in all policy: how to eradicate poverty, how to do trade in a more sustainable way, how to protect marine life. Particularly in the last few years, I think it has been one of our most important. For example, I can tell you a little bit about women participation. I think it's SDG 8. Well, women participation, I don't know the number, but I think it's SDG 8. That's one of our main principles for our foreign policy. We are always very much trying to increase women participation, for example, in armed force, peace and security, also for diplomats, for politicians, for women who work in every aspect of public, and also for their private lives. That's one of our main goals. So SDGs are definitely, just like in Indonesia, a big part of public policy at the end of the day. I don't know, Ibu, if that answers your question.
It's enough. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Ibu. And thank you for letting me know. I did not remember the name of the first Indonesian ambassadors. It's very recent, so it's very good to know.
Yes. Bapak. Halo? Halo?
We can hear you, I think.
No problem. Okay, the next question. Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Good afternoon, Ms. Francisca. I'm Sarah Sabira. I am student international from Universitas Negara Indonesia. We know that both Indonesia and Chile are often categorized as a part of the Global South. What is the potential for cooperation between the two countries in advancing the interests of Global South nation on the international stage? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. It's something that we always discuss in Indonesia. We are both Global South, we are developing nations, and we believe the challenges are similar. For example, mining industries. Indonesia has wide mines for mining for nickel. In Chile, we do for lithium. Both of us are continuously looking how to do our industry, how to mine in a way that is sustainable. I give you a more example that is very much for you always in the news. Indonesia's OECD accession process, right? OECD, it's mostly made up of many countries. Chile is among OECD members since, I don't remember, but it's let's say 1 decade ago. Indonesia recently has started the process since last year, and there is a lot to be learned from developed countries, from the north countries. But the challenge at the end of the day that you're going to find that are similar for Indonesia and Chile, there's a great expertise there that we can share. We have undergone the process recently to enter OECD, and we are developing countries. So even though the developed countries share many things, go to your neighbor, go to the South to know shared challenges. And the way maybe you can find sometimes solutions that might be more implementable for Indonesia. So we always said, come to Chile, talk to Chile for OECD accession. We have met, for example, with Bapak Erlangga to discuss about this, with ministers of trade here. and previous, because Chile underwent the process recently, and the South-South perspective is a valuable perspective that must be always be taken into account by other South-South partners. So that's my 2 cents on the issue, I think. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. My name is Dilar. I am from alumni of the University of the Indonesia Hubungan Internasional. My question is, this is very my interesting about Indonesia cooperation with Chile. Chile cooperation in the field of disease management. What does it include? Maybe some like the penanggulangan bencana kerjasama mungkin. Thank you. Practicing maybe about disease management. Thank you.
Okay. You have no idea how similar Chile and Indonesia are in this sense, because both of our countries are on the ring of fire. I have read that in Bandung area maybe soon it's predicted that there's going to be a large earthquake. In Chile it's exactly the same thing. We are always waiting for the next big earthquake. We are prepared. We have a lot of, when was this? No, I think 2007. I'm not going to say a date, but recently, a few years ago, we had a very, very large earthquake that was in Richter scale 8.0, and it should have devastated our whole country. And actually, we came out very victorious. Relatively, of course, a large earthquake, it's always a very important challenge for everybody. But in Chile, we have taken care, because we have earthquakes every day, more strong or less strong. We have taken to build our buildings, all our infrastructure that are earthquake resistant. And I know that's something Indonesia is doing also. We have shared common practices at a multilateral level regarding disaster management, but I think in the bilateral agenda, we have an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, but there's still a lot to be done. It's a lot to be done yet, because we face similar challenges. Not only earthquakes, volcano eruptions. So that's something that we still have to delve further, but it's definitely a big area of cooperation that we can tackle in the future. Thank you.
Saya izin pakai bahasa Indonesia ya. Oke. Di samping dari sisi ekonomi, kira-kira ada gak sih kerjasama antara Indonesia dan Chile terkait kerjasama pertahanan? Ya, mungkin itu kalau misalkan ada, kira-kira itu udah sejauh mana kira-kira ya? Oke, thank you.
Thank you. Good question. You know, Indonesia has a strong military cooperation with many countries, a wide spectrum of countries, and Chile does too. We are currently working on military cooperation that is yet to be made concrete, but we are working on it currently, actually. And that's all I'm going to mention now on the issue, but we have some projects going on that we are discussing at the level of defense between Chile and Indonesia.
I hope that's the last question. And sorry for participants who are coming online in the Zoom. I can't read. Actually, there are so many questions from them, but we have a limited time to end this question. Okay. Before we close our session, thank you, Ms. Francisca, for all your the things that you share today, we all have so much similarity even in disaster.
Yes.
We share the same value even in disaster, and that's a new fact for me. And then thank you for all participants today. I hope we can take so much thing that Indonesia and Chile have strong bond and similarity since 6 decades. And we also pray that this bonding going to be stronger and stronger in the future. Okay, maybe for the last session, for the participant that raising hands for give us question can come to the front.
Miss, bisa dibantu nggak? Yang tadi bertanya mau dikasih di berapa?
We have a little bit souvenir for you. Maybe you can come to the front. And we miss.
I have a question. Are all of you part of the international degree? Or is different the areas? Ah, okay. Oh, di depan. Oke. Apa tuh? Ya. Oh, depan sini. Oke. Ya. Thank you for Miss Francisca, and for all those who you like to revisit today's discussion to join our next session, please follow the updates of Dubes Ngopi series platform. Okay, Lutfi.
Dubes series.
Yeah.
Miss Francisca.
And Lutfi is going to send you the Instagram or our embassy account so you can also check out what we're doing.
Okay, thank you. So we stay connected each
Of
other.
course.
Thank you. Okay, stay safe, stay informed, and see you again for the next Dubes Ngopi session.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. A wonderful conduction and a wonderful event to share with young kids. Not young anymore. Young kids. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you to Miss Tia and Miss Francis.